Oi, my drillers, it's your geezer BigDonnyCal here to bring you guys a classic Burning Crusade Demonology Warlock guide. But oh wait, over 80% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel. So, if you want my Felguard to eat this month, then I suggest you do so. Now, with that out of the way, I'm going to teach you everything you need to know to be the big Zog Warlock that you want to be with your Felguard. So, first of all, the most important thing of your build is to pick your talents. So, the way this works is this is a 145-15 talent build where you will be picking 1 point in Affliction. This point will go into Improved Corruption. You will want to pick 45 points into Demonology, I'll go into that in a bit, and 15 points into Destruction, where you want to be picking Improved Shadow Bolt. That way, when you use Shadow Bolts later, when you get a crit, you'll be amplifying your shadow damage, which will be really key to just pumping out just extra numbers when you're in raids. You'll want Bane, which will reduce the cast time of Shadow Bolt and Immolate by 0.5 seconds. Which is really good, as that means you'll be able to get more Shadow Bolts, and you'll be able to get your Immolate out much faster in a raid encounter, which will allow for more damage, of course. And then also you want 5 points in Devastation, so that you can get the critical strike chance on your destruction spells, which goes hand in hand with your improved Shadow Bolt, as Shadow Bolt is classed as a destruction spell. Now, as I said, let's go into the Demonology talents. So, the first couple points, you want to be investing 2 points into Improved Health Stones, so that you get more health out of your health stones. You want to put 5 points into Demonic Embrace. This will increase your stamina by 15%, and, well, it reduces your total spirit by 5%, but spirit doesn't really matter for us because we can life tap and use Drain Life, and our Warlock Toolkit allows us to basically reduce the need for spirit. Then we want Fel Intellect. This increases the intellect of your pet and increases your maximum mana by 3%, which is a very nice talent to have, especially compared to the other ones. We don't really want stuff like Improved Imp, Voidwalker, or Succubus. We won't really be using them. I guess Improved Health Funnel is okay, but I mean, we should be fine. Health Funnel does its job well enough as it is. We then want Fel Domination. This will allow us to resummon our pet in a very quick cast time on a 15-minute cooldown. I know it sounds long, but especially in a raid, this will prove to be very handy. It means in the middle of a fight, if you just so happen to find that your pet dies, then boosh, press the button, and you can get them back. And I'm going to quickly show you a macro.
Hello there, Editor Cal here. Just realised my camera was covering the macro, so I'm going to briefly explain it here. Basically, #show tooltip. When you hover over the macro, we'll show the tooltip of the first ability in this macro sequence, which you could change to say, let's say if I put in summon Felguard, then it would show summon Felguard instead of Fel Domination, but it will default to the first ability. Then how the macro works is the first press of it will cast Fel Domination, then the second press will cast summon Felguard. So you just press the button twice and then boom, you got your pet back quickly. And yeah, that easy. You can also replace Felguard for any pet, say Voidwalker. You could even do /cast Sacrifice as well if you want a shield from it, but we'll get into that.
Then the other talent you want is Fel Stamina. Fel Stamina will increase the stamina of your pet and increases your health by 3%, very similar to the Fel Intellect talent. You want 3 points in both, remember? Demonic Aegis is very strong. We want 3 points in that because it increases the effectiveness of our Demon Armor and Fel Armor by 30%, 10% a point, very good. Oh, Master Summoner! Reduce the casting time of your pets by 4 seconds and the mana cost by 40%. So, yeah, pretty strong. Summoning your pets, sorry, not your pets' casts. Then there's Unholy Power. This just increases your pet's damage, flat out. Demonic Sacrifice is quite good. I mean, I don't think in this build you end up using it all that often at all. I mean, if there are situations where even if you micromanage your pet, you can't get the damage out, or say if you're in a dungeon and you're in a spell cleave group and all you're going to be doing is spamming Seed of Corruption, then you might want to sacrifice a succubus. Then, you know, go ham with Demonic Sacrifice. But this is really just a gateway to another talent, which I'll talk about a bit later, Soul Link. And you want all 5 points in Master Demonologist, as this will grant you a buff based on your pet. Most of the time you will have your Felguard active, so the buff you'll be getting is you'll get a 5% damage increase, and all resistances will be increased by 0.5 per level. So yeah, this is really effective. I wouldn't really want to run without this talent. Mana Feed is a pretty decent talent as well. Basically, when I press life tap, my pet is going to be gaining mana as well. I'll show you that a bit later, but it's very strong talent, as that means your Felguard can keep spamming cleaves. If you're out in open world, you can spam Anguish a bit more, and if needs be, you can have the mana in order to use Intercept, which will allow for a 3-second stun. Yeah, 3-second stun on the target. So very strong talent overall. You can also opt into Demonic Resilience, which is more of a defensive talent. Now what this does is it reduces the chance for you to be critically struck by melee and spells by 3%. I'm not 100% sure if this would count towards, say, something like a hunter attack, but we'll see, I guess. And it reduces all damage your summoned demon takes by 15%, which is really good, especially when we move on to our next talent, Soul Link. Soul Link is a very strong talent. What it does is, while you have the buff active, 20% of all damage that you take is shared with your pet. Well, no. Oh, it appears 20% of the damage is actually taken by the pet instead of being shared. I think at one point it used to be shared, but yeah, okay. So for clarity, the damage, 20% of all damage you take will go straight to your pet, which is really nice, especially with combination of Demonic Resilience, which will reduce that damage by a further 15%. Of course, that doesn't mean it's going to take 5% of damage. It's just going to take 85% of the 20% incoming damage. Then also, both you and your demon will deal an extra 5% more damage, which is very strong. Now, the next talent you want to put some points into is Demonic Knowledge, which will increase your spell damage by 12% of your demon's stamina and intellect. Now, I'm just gonna hide my webcam quickly for this next part so you can see these talents. So you want to be putting 5 points into Demonic Tactics, which will increase the melee and spell critical chance for you and your summoned demon by 5%, which is really strong, especially in combination with the improved Shadow Bolt we were talking about earlier in the Destruction Tree. Then, of course, the cherry on the cake of the Demonology build. The reason you came here is summon Felguard. This is what we want. That's what we want to see. And yeah, that will be your final talent in the Deep Demo build. Now, what I'm going to go on to next is how your Felguard itself works. So, as you can see here, you have... Well, actually, no. I'm going to go into the spellbook here because there is one passive effect. Or actually, two passive effects, sorry. I do forget about Avoidance since it's not so actively seen when playing the game. But, of course, with any standard pet, you have the option to command it to attack, to follow you, to stay at its current location, to be aggressive, defensive, or passive. Personally, I prefer more control over my pet, so I leave it in passive all the time. That way I can make it attack on my command, and I like to leave cleave on auto cast,
That way, he just keeps pumping out the damage. You kind of don't want Anguish on autocast because, you know, you don't want your pet to taunt Neverspite off for tanks in Karazhan and have it be one-shot, or any boss, or anything you can't take for that matter. And Intercept is an ability you kind of want control over, as it is a form of CC, which you need to be paying attention to and using at the right time. Which, I must admit, this ability alone has helped me use this build in PvP scenarios. Now, let's go into all the abilities. Whew. Anguish is a basic taunt. It's not always amazing. I'd say only use this in open world scenarios. Aside from that, just ignore it. Avoidance will increase your demon's chance to avoid area of effect attacks by an additional 50%, which is really strong. That will be very effective in raids, as when AoE goes out, then... Hey, if you forgot to pull your pet back out of Aran's Arcane Explosion, then there's a chance that your pet might survive, which is very nice. Cleave, very good spell. It's basically just extra damage. Oh, there's an alliance here. Yeah, it just it's another damaging hit alongside of its auto attack. Demonic Frenzy. Every time the demon will hit, its damage will be increased by 5% per hit, which will stack up to 50%, which is pretty strong. So treat it like your Curse of Agony. Your pet will do more damage over the course of a fight, because it will just ramp up to higher damage percentages. Intercept is basically your stun. You don't really use this for damage, you just kind of use this for the extra stun you can get out of it. Now, the rotation for Demonology Warlocks is pretty easy. Basically, the way it starts is you want to first apply your curse. I'll go over more in depth what curses you kind of want to use in a separate guide for curses, which I should hopefully release soon. But on pull, after you've used your curse, you want to be using Corruption, followed by an Immolate, and then you want to be using your Shadow Bolt. Of course, you want to rank these spells up as high as you can. In AoE scenarios, when it's safe, you can also use Seed of Corruption. It's kind of just a judgment call as to when you decide to use it. Do remember that, say on fights like Aran, you can be spell locked for up to 10 seconds. So, you know, you're probably going to get spell locked out of your Shadow Bolt. So be sure to swap over to Incinerate. And if you do have more gear that increase your fire damage power, then you can substitute Incinerate for Shadow Bolt. You kind of don't really want to be using Searing Pain, unless it's like the fight in, I believe it's Shadow Labyrinths, where the Warlock will summon Void Walkers and you need to kill those adds quick. Everyone will be focusing those adds. They won't really live that long. But if you want to make sure you get some damage into those adds before they die, then chuck it a quick Searing Pain. Easy damage onto the ad. It's a pretty effective one, but it doesn't really provide that much in terms of damage on a raid boss. Drain Life is a very key ability. It will basically heal you for the damage you do. So if you really need healing, say on the Neverspite fight, when you are soaking the blue beam, sometimes if it's a bit tricky for your healers, it's worth Drain Lifing, especially once you've already got your dots up. More so if you use the Nightfall talent in the Affliction Tree, but you do need to go far deeper into the Affliction Tree for that, and I do not believe you can run the Demonology build with that. So that's just a bit of additional information. One more thing to note about the Demonology rotation spells and abilities is that when you summon your demon, make sure to rebuff Soul Link. So as you can see, that's my Soul Link ability. Press that. Then you also want to be using Fell Armor. When you apply Fell Armor, that will increase health generated through spells and effect by 20% and increase your spell damage by up to 100, which is very good. Now I'm just going to demonstrate you the
regular rotation of a Demonology Warlock. So how we start is we send in our pet. Our pet reaches the target. Say on a raid fight, ordinarily I will cast Curse of Doom. I'll then use Corruption. I'll then use Immolate. I like to use Blood Fury and on my strongest unused trinket since it's the start of the fight. And I will spam Shadow Bolts from this point on. Of course, that mob is very weak, so we can't really spam Shadow Bolts. It dies very quickly. But yeah, what I decided to use is I used my higher spell power trinket, as I've got 2 spell power trinkets. I will then follow it up with another spell power trinket later on. However, I want to be using Blood Fury at points where I know I'm not going to be taking damage, or phases where I won't have to life tap. So I will make sure that I am on full mana and full health before using Blood Fury again in a raid fight. Which is only mechanic really specific to orcs, but be sure that if you do have some racials that will amplify your damage, then substitute them out for Blood Fury. Now the last thing I'm going to talk about as a warlock is going to be our gear. So first of all, I just want to mention that we can make firestones and spellstones. If you do have a lot of additional fire damage gear, then it might be worth using a firestone to further amplify the damage of your incinerate and immolate. And then personally, I don't use spellstones in raids, but if you're hit capped and you needed a bit of extra spell crit, then I guess you could go for it, although I really do not recommend using a spellstone. So here's our stats, and you might be wondering, well, what's the most important stat? So we kind of want spell hit rating to be at, I think the hit cap's 202, not too sure. I will put that in the comments down below. I mean the description down below, not the comments. But yeah, hit rating is our most important stat. You want to chase this on piece of gear until you reach hit cap. Make sure you go for spell hit rating and not regular hit rating, if I show you as I am a dual. So yeah, you don't want hit rating such as this Glinting Flame Specirite, as it only sets +3 hit rating. The problem with that is that it does not affect spells. You want spell hit rating, which I believe I have on my Evergem for it, maybe? I do not, but if we look at these Makari Ritualist Horns, which you can get from doing the quests here in the Grand, which is a very strong item, it increases spell hit rating. Spell hit rating is key. Regular hit rating will do nothing for you, not even for your Felguard, as far as I'm aware. If I hear off Rice though, I will update you guys. Then after you reach hit cap, you want to be chasing spell power. Spell power is going to be really what's going to make you hit far harder. As you can see, spell power just increases your attack power as well as your spell damage, which is very key. Then the last thing you want to really be chasing is crit chance. Crit chance is going to be very strong for you, as it will allow for more damage to come out of that improved Shadow Bolt destruction talent. However, its strength is not as good in comparison to hit rating and spell damage. Then also extra healing, like, you really don't need that, and spirit is not that good. Stamina is okay as it allows for more life taps, but if you're in group scenarios, then let's be real, you're probably going to be receiving heals from your healer. Then intellect is okay, but really what, like, the stats you want to be chasing in order is spell hit rating, spell power, then critical strike. Make sure you stick to that order, as that is the most important order for you to follow. And yeah, well, that is it for the Demonology Warlock guide. I will be releasing a couple more guides going forward. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy the video, please leave a like. If you are a Warlock yourself and you have any additional information to add for other players in the Warlock community to learn from, then please put that down in the comments below. And enjoy the Burning Crusade, my friends. I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.